Hey guys, Scott Ulmer here. I have got a rehab property, a fixer-upper behind me that we ran across, and we're buying it for $130. The ARV, or the after repair value, is $230. It's got a $100,000 margin in here. I'm going to take you through the property. We're going to go room by room. I'm going to break down the bid, tell you exactly what we're going to be doing and the costs associated. I get a lot of questions on how do you factor renovation costs and what does it cost to redo a bathroom and a kitchen and flooring, all that good stuff. I'm going to go through with you room by room and break down the entire house and show you what we're going to do and how we're going to make a lot of money on this deal. Pretty exciting, and look forward to showing you more. Let's go on and go inside. All right, so this is a deal that actually came through our normal system. We actually found this online for sale by owner. So we've got several different lead generating techniques that we teach, some of which start with calling for sale by owner sellers online. Now this had some different kind of moving parts to it. Clearly it needs work. You're going to see it in a detailed breakdown when I go inside here, but it was definitely something that made sense to us. So when we called, the seller was asking $160,000 for the property. Obviously, that's a little bit higher than we have it under contract for, but it really wasn't unnecessarily out of bounds as far as the neighborhood is concerned. As I mentioned, this house comps out at a $230 price point. So ARV, for those of you who don't know, stands for after repaired value. After repair value basically means if the house was totally renovated, looked great, pristine, moving condition, what would it comp at? What are really the top comps in the area? Of course, apples to apples, comps are based on square footage, beds and baths, within a certain radius, usually a half mile or less, and sold within anywhere from 3 to 6 months. The more you hone in on those metrics, the closer the comps you should have, but that's really the general rules of thumb for comping. Half mile radius, last 6 months, similar square footage, similar beds and baths, and in this particular area, these comps come out at about $230,000. We are in a busy road, so you're going to hear some background noise. Now, having said that, one of the things that we teach is multiple offer strategies. When you give a seller who has the right motivation different options, you never know what they're going to pick. Now there's a strategy behind it. Typically, whichever one option that you want the seller to take, you make the other one look a lot less appealing and the offer that you want them to take much more appealing. And so in this case, we made a cash offer, and then we made what we called a terms offer, where we would basically buy the house on payments. And the seller originally took the terms offer at $150,000. So we offered $125,000 for cash, or $150,000 if we took the house over on payments. Typically it's a 12 to 24 month cycle. We make monthly payments, then agree to have the house paid off at some point in the future, typically within 12 to 24 months. Originally, the seller wanted the higher dollar figure, and you're going to get that a lot. They obviously look at the bottom line. The terms deal may be a delayed payment, but ultimately they're going to get a lot more. In this case, $25,000 plus the benefit of all the monthly payments that we would agree to make. So they took the terms offer and we put it under contract, and about 7 to 10 days later we get a call back from the seller. Well, life had a circumstance that changed. They had a need for the proceeds of the property and ultimately came back and said, would you still make the same cash offer? So we negotiated, we ended up at $130,000. But part of the benefit of multiple offer strategies is that A, it gives the seller a choice, but what happens is if something in their life changes, they may come back to you for the lower offer. So, and one of the things that I always tell people, once you find the deal, if it's a good deal, you will find the money. So if you're watching this saying, I'd love to make multiple offers, but how can I make a cash offer? Because I don't have cash, I don't have investors lined up. Sometimes you got to put yourself in the hot water and make it, figure it out, right? Put yourself in the frying pan and figure out how to get out of it. So find the deal. If you have a deal, you'll find the money. Now, we want you to start looking for private investors, and that's a whole nother segment I'm not going to touch on in this particular video, but if you can make multiple offers, even if you don't have the cash, you're going to run across some opportunities. So in this case, again, multiple offer, terms, cash. They came back and took the cash, and now we've got about a $100,000 margin. Yes, we have rehab costs, but ultimately we're going to net about 70 grand on this deal, and we're pretty excited about that. So let's go and take a peek through the house. Again, I'm going to go room by room and tell you what we're going to do and really the correlating expenses. We have a contractor I've worked with for about 10 years, went through this room by room and gave us a breakdown of what he would charge. We went back and forth, and we'll probably share some of that footage as well. But I'm going to tell you exactly what rehabs cost room by room. Let's go ahead and go in the house. guys ready to have a little fun? Let's walk through this beautiful house and pick it apart, poke holes, and tell you how we broke down the rehab. So come on here. So Andrew just came through the front door, and we're in what's called, or what we probably refer to as the front room, the parlor room. Kind of a cool little room, actually, and we are in a busy street here, but let me just kind of tell you what we talked through and what our plans are. So this room actually has decent floors. I don't know what kind of shot you can get on the floors, Andrew, but they're dirty, they're painted, but ultimately they're in really nice condition as a whole, and they're nice floors. So we felt confident we could clean this floor up and leave it. Beautiful fireplace. It is wood burning. Anytime you see ashes in the fireplace, you can assume it is a wood burning fireplace, and that is important to verify. I've actually had something opposite happen at one point. They weren't sure and they ended up burning logs. It didn't work so well, but at the end of the day, great fireplace, front room, got a great bay window, but the reality is, as far as the renovation is concerned, there's really not a lot to be done in here. We're going to knock down the walls. We're going to put a nice fresh coat of paint on the walls and on the ceiling. We'll replace the ceiling fan, but as far as this room here is concerned, there's just not a lot to do. Now, as far as the bid is concerned, let's walk through the house. I'm going to share specific numbers in specific rooms, but when you have a kind of a general where you're just cleaning the floor and painting, usually the paint bid is for the whole house. In many cases, you have a flooring bid for the whole house. And so I don't have a specific or an individual cost on just this room because all we're doing is cleaning, knocking down, and painting. I'll give you the full bid for the paint when we walk through the house. So this is the front room, the parlor room, bay window here. Come on into this big room that you walk into from the front door. So if you're following me along, Andrew came right through the front door, and here we are in kind of the main, I don't know what you would call this, but it does have a nice big open space. Let me share with you something that was kind of a cool little discovery for us. Anytime you are in a house and it has carpet, pull the carpet up. Go to the side where it's easiest to typically get a hold of it and pull it back. And in this case, you might find a little friendly roach. Hey, they're just friendly. In fact, in Florida, they're not roaches. They're palmetto bugs, right? Roaches with wings. They don't get much worse than that. But in this case, guys, there's hardwood floor under here. And we think really, really nice. Now, hard to tell just from a corner, but when you pull the whole carpet up, there are some spots, but it can be finished. It can be sanded and ultimately stained. And I think we had a bid on that for about $800. And so either that or carpet, but people, I think 9 times out of 10 would take the hardwood choice. And so that was kind of a nice, exciting find for us. And so we're going to end up saving the hardwood, pulling the carpet out, sanding it, and finishing it with a coat. Excuse me, you walk into a nice, freshly painted, brand new stained hardwood. We think it's going to be really, really appealing. So now, as we go through the house, I'm going to point out some of the things like these crank windows, the old crank windows. This thing's already shut to the max, and there's a gap right there, so not the most efficient when it comes to your heating and air bills. Now, we're in Florida, so we don't have a lot of heating bills, but in the summer when it gets cool, if you have windows that crank and they don't seal very well, obviously it's not going to hold in your air the way you'd like it to, and that can increase your bills. So there are a series of windows that we'll be replacing here. Rule of thumb for a window is about $300 with labor. About $300 with labor installed. And so as we go through, we'll kind of look at the different windows. There's some new ones throughout and some that are the cranks. And depending on the level that you want to renovate the home and the condition of the cranks will dictate whether or not you replace them. Look, if this was perfectly working, and there are some that are, and it had a nice tight seal, I'd argue, do you need to replace it? It certainly will help the value and the sale of the home, but you have a lot of windows that can add it very, very quickly. So it really depends on the window. If it's in the very front, it's certainly something you'd want to replace. If it's a side window that may not get used or seen, it's functional, that would certainly be a judgment call on your part. Now, I will tell you, as I go through, if you would do something different, tell me. Comment in the section below. If you have a different pricing structure that you are accustomed to, share that too. This is intended to be educational, informative, and sharing with you exactly what we're doing here and the prices that we've come up with. And but we love the comments, and we love, obviously, hearing other people's opinions, because at the end of the day, when you're flipping homes and doing rehabs, much of it is going to be individual to your taste and your opinion. Now, let me tell you, you're not going to live here. Don't make it the Taj Mahal. It's one of the things I see people make. The biggest mistakes is that they want to make it as if they're going to live there. They want to make it perfect and top-notch everything, and I understand that, but this is business. This is a widget. Don't fall in love. Do what you need to do to make it to a beautiful home that can be sellable, but don't go over the top. If you go over the top, that's how people can lose money. Now, I'll also tell you this. We've been through the home a few times with a couple different people, and it's really interesting to me that everybody seems to have a different opinion on what they would do. So when we get to the kitchen, I'm going to tell you about the cabinets. I'm going to show them to you. We think we can save them. In fact, I'm going to show you exactly why they're in really good shape, and we think cleaning them up could make a big difference and save a huge cost. I had somebody else come in here just a few days ago, and they were absolutely determined to replace the cabinets, thinking that was the best course of action, which is about a $12,000 cost. So comment on your thoughts, what you would do if you do it differently, and any sort of pricing structures that you may see that would be different. Let me add one other tidbit that's really, really important. When you are an investor and you are rehabbing homes, you are going to be dealing with contractors that do the same, that rehab homes in many cases for investors. If you go to the premium, first class, top-notch remodeling company that's running TV commercials and is all of the fine marketing and print and all the things that make them this A1 company, you're going to pay for that. So if you're rehabbing your own house and you want to get a first top-notch, out of this world contractor to rehab your own house, well, you're certainly going to pay that. Now, I'm not suggesting we don't want good contractors, because contractors are a big part of flipping houses, and you want to have a good crew. Otherwise, you're going to have problems that you have to deal with, and obviously that's not what you want to do. But I want to be really clear. The contractors that we work with really are specific to investor and renovation type properties. And so as a case in point, when I got the original bid, it came in the form of an email. There were some issues with my contractor getting me the bid, and I thought it was because he was sending it from a system, a CRM of some sort, and not the most techie guy, so when he was hitting send, somehow it wasn't coming through. So it took a day or two delay, and finally I called him and said, I'm not getting it, what are you doing? And so we worked through it, and I get the bid in the form of an email. Well, it literally was an email that was line itemed. There were spelling errors, grammatical errors, mistakes, and ultimately it kind of looked like a hodgepodge, but it was perfect, because if I got a bid on the fancy letterhead and fancy paper and all broken down, and of course that certainly wouldn't be unexpected in today's day and age, but you're going to pay for that. This contractor does great work for very fair prices, and the fact that his bid was an email that had grammatical and spelling errors mattered none. In fact, it made me chuckle, because it was really a great example of the type of contractor. He does great work, fair prices. Just because he doesn't have a fancy bid or fancy software system really didn't make a difference to me. So anyway, having said that, as we go through the house and I give you the numbers that we've got here as a bid, if you disagree with them for whatever reason, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it and love to hear different comparisons. So, all right, well, let's keep going, Andrew. We thought about trying to shampoo the carpet. Can you zoom in on that, Andrew? We just didn't think that would shampoo out. No, I'm just kidding. We weren't going to try to save the carpet, but we did see some red stains over here, and we're convinced that they're wine, not blood. Not blood. I'm just saying, here's some more of those. So, all right, come on in, guys. So this is a bedroom. By the way, to me, it's kind of funny that you walk into a house like this and a lot of people will get, probably the heebie-jeebies. And I learned something a long time ago. Actually, I learned two things a long time ago. Number one, your feet do a lot of the walking and talking. So as you are kind of walking through the home, let your feet kind of feel what's under you. Is there a bounce in there? Does the floor kind of do a little bit of the up and down? If you put a marble on one side of the house, is it going to roll to the other, right? Your feet can kind of tell you if there are soft spots and ultimately some potential issues, number one. Number two, when you walk into a home and it smells like dog urine and all sorts of other nasty stuff, that smells like one thing: money. Don't get grossed out by it. I'm smiling. It's something you've probably heard before, but at the end of the day, those opportunities, when you have houses that smell like that, are opportunities to make a lot of money, because a lot of people get grossed out by them, don't want to deal with them, can't get past the fact that the house looks like a dog with fleas, right? That's where you can make some really good money. Try to look past it. Look at the bones, look at the structure and the area and the potential upside. Don't get so hung up on the fact that the carpet's really nasty and that the house has a very bad odor. You can change those things. Really important to know, especially for those that are just getting started. So, okay, just your basic bedroom here. Now these windows here, I don't know that this window is savable. I'm going to assume that it's not. So we're going to end up replacing these windows, about $300 a pop. Obviously carpet. We're going to knock down texture on the walls. We're going to popcorn. I'm not going to popcorn ceiling. I see if they're paying attention. No, we don't popcorn ceilings anymore. That's been out of style for quite some time. But we may knock down the ceilings. We may not. We haven't quite decided that. Getting new light fixtures, new switch plate covers is always really, really good. It makes it stand out, especially with a nice fresh coat of paint. And frankly, this is a great little bedroom here. So what's nice about this is actually could be arguably the master bedroom. So let's kind of walk over here, Andrew, into the bathroom here. So you've got a bathroom that has tiles that actually aren't half bad. We would replace this vanity, we would replace the toilet, and this is really one of those kind of walk-in shower tubs. Now, I will tell you this, we have a $5,200 bid for the bathroom replacement. That's replacing all of it. The cabinets, the vanity, the toilet, ripping the shower out, putting a brand new shower, replacing the floor. So in our world, we're paying about $5,000 for a brand new bathroom. Now, could you build on this existing? Yes, you could. To me, bathrooms are obviously really, really important for the sale. And if this is the master bedroom and you want to have a sale that comes in at a high price, doing things like the bathroom can make a big difference, go a long way. In this case, frankly, I don't know that anything in here is worth saving. So we've allocated $5,200 to replace the entire bathroom. And again, you'll walk in here, master bedroom, some new windows, and you'll end up having a brand new bathroom, which is going to go a really long way, especially for the person who decides on whether or not you're going to buy the house, which is either the husband or the wife. So if you had to take a guess that the decision maker in buying a house is either the husband or the wife, who would you guess? Well, if you guess the husband, you're dead wrong. The wife is the one, the woman is the one that is going to make the decision. And that is just the fact of life. It's been that way forever. So when you're doing rehabs, keep in mind the one that's going to make the decision on whether this is a good fit is typically going to be the woman. And so you want to make sure that some of the specifics like bathroom, kitchen, and other things are done in a way that would be certainly satisfactory to the ultimate decision maker, which is going to be the wife or the woman. So, okay, let's go ahead and go into the closet here. This actually has a nice closet. And we talked about doing some things, and I'm going to show with you in the kitchen. We're going to take a wall out, but guys, a room like this, we had talked about, do we take the wall out, make the bathroom bigger, and could we do some other things? You start messing with taking walls out and reconfiguring things, you better have a good reason for it, and you better be able to get a return on it. And I'm going to take it one step further. The folks that we had a group come through here, we were studying the home and sharing the same thing I'm sharing with you on this video, and they said, oh man, wouldn't it be great if we had a bigger bathroom, we could blow this wall out, make a smaller closet? And I said, well, let me ask you this. Would you like the bigger bathroom if you were living here? And or would we get more money if we moved this wall back because there was a bigger bathroom in the master? Well, the reason they wanted a bigger bathroom is because they thought it would be great. If they were living here, that was kind of the essence of their come from. But at the end of the day, to move a wall back, have to move plumbing and the whole nine, reconfigure a room, are we going to get more money for it at the end of the day? And I got to tell you, absolutely not. A brand new bathroom, there's plenty of room in there, is going to pop. Just to move the wall back a couple feet to give you a little more space, conceptually, maybe it makes sense. If you were living here, maybe that would make sense. But from an investment standpoint, you won't see a return on the cost to move the wall, nor I don't think it would help the sale come faster or quicker. I think you're spending money unnecessarily. So that would really be a case in point of where you could easily go overboard unnecessarily. Brand new bathroom is great. You don't need to move the closet wall to make the bathroom a little bigger, the closet a little smaller. And frankly, I could argue maybe even the opposite. If this is the master bed, master bath, now you've got a nice big master closet. There's definitely room for another set of bars over here, or a bar for hanging your clothes, and certainly have a lot of room here. So there are some things that we'll do to clean this up, and there's some good shelf space over here. But at the end of the day, I absolutely would not move a bathroom wall just to give a few more feet of bathroom space. So, okay, here we are, bathroom, master closet. Let's kind of come on down here. We'll go into the other one over here. Don't think we can save that mirror. Although anytime I do see mirrors, I always like to try to save them if we can. Now this bathroom is a little bit smaller and a little bit cozier here. You don't have as much room, but ultimately it's a second full bath. So you have a shower, step in here. You have a toilet. This is just a freestanding shelf here, and then the vanity. Now these are the old tiles that you cannot, unless you match them, and good luck doing it, you really are stuck redoing the bathroom as a whole. Now some of you watch this may say, those tiles aren't bad, even though pink and blue Miami Vice style might be a little out of date. However, if it's in good condition, of which it is, could it clean up? It could. Now that's really a judgment call. We have planned to rip out the tiles and redo the whole bathroom. Again, same cost, about $5,200, and that gets you a brand new bathroom. So now you have two brand new, fully renovated bathrooms in the home, and frankly, that's a big sell feature for obvious reasons. So would you keep these tiles? You can paint them. It still looks like painted tiles, but Some people do, and frankly, they're in good condition, so it's conceivable. You know, would you keep these cabinets? I think we've walked through, there's just no reason that we wouldn't want to update this bathroom. But at the end of the day, the cosmetics of the bathroom, in particular the tiles, aren't in terrible shape. So again, judgment call. Flooring looks to be in decent order, you know, but again, we have factored in for another full bathroom, and again, cost for us is right around $5,000. By the way, that's up a little bit over the past couple of years for a handful of reasons, but that's about what we're paying for a bathroom right now. And so, all right, very good. Let's go to the other room down here. And nothing much to do here. Kind of the same scenario as the other. Rip the carpet out. If the hardwood floor is as good in here as it is in the main living area, then we will sand it and stain it. If it's not, then we will replace it. Not a huge carpet fan, but in bedrooms, carpet is nice to have. But we usually will do some sort of a vinyl throughout in most cases. So here, knock down the walls, fresh coat of paint. Here's another crank window. And again, this one I believe is in decent working order, which is why it barely moves when you crank it. So we're going to end up replacing that one too. So there was a couple that we were saving. I thought that was one of them, but that would not be. So anyway, again, a decent little room. It has a closet. We'll put a new light fixture in. And then one other thing that's important is when you're talking about kind of minor cosmetics, I mentioned switch plate covers for your electrical outlets and your light. If you have kind of a nice color on the wall, whether it's a light gray or maybe a light tan, and you have these white switch plate covers, boy, they just pop out. Another little tidbit is having the new white 6-panel doors. Now, bedroom doors in houses are not expensive. You're talking maybe 40 bucks, 50 bucks for a brand new white 6-panel door. Usually they come with a set lock as well. And that, again, makes it really pop. So factor in doors. Fortunately, they're not very big expenses, but new doors really can go a long way as well. So I'm going to give you the total cost for the flooring and total cost for the painting here at the very end. Again, that's all usually when you're doing a full rehab, that's usually looped into one expense. So, all right, let's go take a look at the kitchen and let's see what you guys would do if you do the same thing here. All right, guys, so I mentioned a few minutes ago when we were in the master bedroom closet that whenever you're going to move a wall or take a wall out, first and foremost, let me preface by saying make sure it's not load bearing. Load bearing means that the configuration of the house, part of it rests on that particular wall. So if you were to take that out, it could compromise the integrity of the structure of the roof and the trusses and the whole 9 yards. Not a good move. So we don't do a lot of that. I have done some walls where we've had load bearing that we've had to remove and had to get a long beam and things like that. But those are exceptional in my world. Those are not the norm. Again, we don't go crazy when we rehab houses. We don't make it the Taj Mahal. We want to be proud. A phrase that we've used for many years is the wow factor. We want people to walk in and say, wow, right? That doesn't mean you have to go over the top and knock walls out and bring in these beams and things like that, structural engineers and all that good stuff. There's a time and a place for it. So the master bedroom closet was not a time and place for it. However, if you look at these walls, and you'll probably have a better feel when we get into the kitchen, these walls really serve no purpose. So this is like I guess it was either a pantry or a closet up here. And as you'll see when we get in the kitchen, it just takes up kitchen space unnecessarily. And this kind of walls off the kitchen, and there are some cabinets over here, but it's really for naught. Now, picture this, and I don't know if we can get a view here, Andrew, but you take these out. We're going to knock this down, take this wall out. Now you've got an open kitchen, a much more open floor plan, and it just really opens up the house. And so this is a situation, these are not load bearing, and we think these are just unnecessary, so we're going to knock these out. And when you see how much it opens up the kitchen and the house, you'll see why we think it's a really good move. So come on with me in here if you would, Andrew. Now this is really the question that I was curious to see what you would do as the viewer. So again, it's really kind of funny. We've had a couple people here that have come through and have wanted to do almost entirely different things. Now in this case, you've got a pretty sizable kitchen. Let me say it differently. You have a decent sized kitchen with a lot of cabinets, okay? Now these are wood cabinets, but as you look through them, they're actually in pretty good condition, all right? Now, one of the things that we talked about was taking off the hardware, because the hardware dates it. But when the cabinets are in decent condition, you can either whitewash them, which freshens it up and lightens it up, and or you can restain them. You could put new hardware on, or you could actually leave the hardware off. but cabinets are one of the biggest expenses of cosmetics that you can run across in a home. We had another one of our peers come through here, and he wanted to put 12 grand in the kitchen. Well, guys, that's a huge chunk of your bid. Now, some of you may say, hey man, you're crazy. That kitchen is ugly and needs to go. And you'd have a point. However, when you look at the rehab as a whole, and what we ended up doing after we walked through the house, we put all of our numbers, first of all, let me say this. We get a bid from a contractor. We then walk through with a contractor. Then we negotiate some of the prices. We want to ask, how did you come up with your prices? If you have a bathroom that's $5,200 and I'm used to paying about $3,800, where's the increase? Well, there's material increases, and there were a couple other things that this particular contractor wanted to do, which is why the bathrooms cost what they did. But we talked through it. Then after we were all said and done, we got a big piece of paper and we wrote down all the things that we wanted to do and what the correlating costs would be. Then we kind of picked and chose which ones we thought made the most sense and which ultimately would fall into our budget that would still allot us a good profit margin. So the consensus was that we would keep the cabinets, we would replace the countertops. All right, the countertops absolutely need replacing. And see this ugly hood that's all rusted and has stuff on it still? Just touched it and got some grease on my fingers. We would replace the hood. Now that hood's 40 bucks, 35 bucks. You're gonna have a brand new hood, freshly painted cabinets. This is the backsplash, and the counter itself will be redone entirely. So that's gonna look really, really good. New appliances can go a really long way as well. You spend about $2-3 grand to get a new refrigerator, stove. Microwave is optional, but it always is a nice add-on feature for those that are moving in. But stainless steel appliances will make a kitchen just pop. So we definitely would replace the flooring. And then one of the things I learned a long time ago, which is really kind of a minor deal, but is get the deep sink. We used to get in another life the cheapest sink you could find, or at least our contractors did, and they went down like 5 inches, and man, you can't fit any dishes in there. But when you can get one of the nozzles on the faucet and a deep sink, you really can. It's a small thing that brings a lot of value to the property ultimately in the sale. And so that's what our plans were for the kitchen. What would you do? Would you do it differently, right? New light fixture, things like that. And I tell you, I wanted to just point out this message because it's all over the house. In case you guys needed a pump up today, just stay woke. That's all you need to worry about, is staying woke. And anyway, it's all over there. There's like 3 or 4 of these. So now you're seeing from the other side, you knock this wall out, we would obviously lose these cabinets, but this whole house is opened up with these 2 walls taken out. So anyway, one guy says replace the whole kitchen. Another guy says, no, we can keep the kitchen. We can work with the existing infrastructure cabinets, clean them up, hardware off. What would you do? I can tell you this, if you can have a kitchen that looks great for a fraction of the cost of replacing all the cabinets, to me that would be a fairly easy decision. Remember, you're not living here. You want to make it beautiful and exciting and wow factor without going above board, or above and beyond, I should say. And that simply means don't make it the Taj Mahal. You're not going to live here. What I just described, if you walked in here to all the things I just said that didn't include replacing the cabinets, you would walk into this kitchen and say, wow, and that's what we're looking for. So, okay, let's kind of come on down here. So this, by the way, is kind of interesting because you walk down some steps here and you can tell, and it might be hard to show on camera, but this looks to be an add-on to the property. And so sometimes when you see maybe some different construction and walking down, and I guess I don't know how I'd be able to point this out on camera, but this was not the original part of the home at the end of the day. So they added on here, and this here is kind of what people looked like they were using as an office. As much as you guys watching, I know y'all like this wood panel. It's so in style and dated, like the popcorn ceilings. Just kidding. Never keep the wood paneling. Now, I will tell you this, and Andrew, if you could flash up to the ceiling real quick, we think that ceiling, maybe with some stain and brand new walls painted, actually wouldn't look so bad. But wood can date a house, it darkens it, and certainly you don't ever want to have wood paneling. So anyways, this was used kind of as an office and was functional as such. I could see this being a study room for the kids, so, but certainly has some potential for functionality here. So okay, light fixtures, windows, again, that would be a judgment call. These are the first windows that you drive up that you see when you drive up into the driveway. So because of that, I would argue having that aesthetic value would go a long way. Now, at the very end, I'm going to take you outside and show you that the curb appeal and the landscaping that we're going to do is paramount, because that's the first thing people see. And then another little tidbit, if you're going to rehab a home, if you're not doing a roof or outside work, you want to do the landscaping and the curb appeal first. You want to attract people, let them know you're working on the property. Don't do curb appeal and landscaping if you're going to do a roof, or you have outside painting to do, because they're just going to beat up the landscaping with the roof tiles and shingles that are thrown off of the roof. So, but when you start with the outside, it tells the neighborhood that you're rehabbing the property, and ultimately you may be able to sell it before you finish the rehab. In a really ideal scenario, you can find a buyer who can tell you some of the specific things they want to see at the property, and ultimately customize it as you're in the rehab for their liking, assuming they're the right buyer. And you can have really a great scenario. You finish the rehab and you close it with your new buyer. So bear that in mind. All right, come on down here, Andrew. Let's show them this third bedroom. So, all right. Well, guys, a bedroom is identified, or I should say differently, is required to have a closet. So a bedroom that doesn't have a closet isn't considered a bedroom. A bedroom that you have to walk through to get to another bedroom is not technically considered a bedroom. Now, it's functional. So let's say you have to walk through a bedroom to get to a bedroom, and you have a person that sleeps in this bedroom, a person that sleeps in that bedroom. It's functional as a two-bedroom, but this middle bedroom that you have to walk through to get to the other bedroom would not count, because you can't count that ultimately as a room that you have to walk through to get to the other bedroom. In this case, they kind of built a closet here, and so we would put doors in here and ultimately wall that in, but because of that, it does make this a technical third bedroom. And again, it's kind of on the other side of the house and would be perfect for a teenager and or really anybody. So nothing much to talk about in here. This also has the wood paneled ceilings. Not my favorite, but ultimately I think it's workable. You have freshly painted and textured walls, new flooring, new 6-panel door with new lock. Again, you get the switch plate covers to offset, and a new white to offset the color of paint. You're going to have a decent looking bedroom here with some doors on the closet, and ultimately that's what you're looking for at the end of the day, just a functional bedroom. So, all right, come on this way, Andrew. Let's walk down into the garage here. Guys, there's not much to show in the garage, but what I would tell you is this, because there were a couple of things that we discussed. So I'm not going to ask Andrew to look at the electrical panel because it'll be too dark over there, but ultimately the electrical panel isn't mounted. So we've got to do a few things to the electrical, and I will say this is a big tidbit when it comes to looking at a home. There are only a few really expensive repairs: roof, heating and air, electric. I'd argue plumbing, although plumbing is getting into a specialized field, and when you have plumbing issues behind the walls and or outside of the home, underground, if you have a slab house and you have plumbing in there, that can be a big mess, but ultimately plumbing can be an expense that can add up as well, water heater, etc. Major expenses are things you really need to make sure are in working order. Anybody can carpet and paint. There are things that are cosmetic that most people can do. Most people can't work on heating and air. Most people can't work on electric. Most people can't work on plumbing. And you want to make sure those are in good working order, because those can be really costly and ultimately skew your rehab numbers. In fact, let me leave that. I have another point I'll make in the next slide. As far as the electric is concerned, we do have some things to do with it. But it might be hard to see, but this is a big 2-car garage. Not only could cars pull all the way in here, but you've got this whole big workstation behind me. And so as we were going through here, we were looking at the different conditions of the cabinets here and some of the other things. And someone said, oh, we should probably paint these cabinets. And they got some scribbly writing here. I think someone's telling me to stay woke again. I don't know. I thought I saw someone tell me stay woke. But at the end of the day, guys, this is a garage. These cabinets are hugely valuable to the homeowner. I've got a bunch of cabinets in my garage, and I use them like crazy. They're great. But you will not get a return or a quicker sale or more money for painting cabinets that are in a garage. Now, if you want to clean them up, that's fine. You know, obviously a house that's clean sells better than a house that's dirty. You know, the old car thing, a dirty car is going to sell slower and for less than a cleaned up car, right? So those things are very simple. But at the end of the day, I advised against painting the cabinets. You may want to. What would you do? But my question is, would you get a return or more money or a quicker sale by having painted cabinets? The answer is no. It's a huge value having them. Going above and beyond to replace them or paint them or any of that is just an absolute waste of money. So the fact that you got a big 2-car garage with a nice workspace is a selling feature within itself. So we really like the garage, and we think this is going to be a nice sell feature. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the outside of the property here. I'm going to show you about the garage doors and the landscaping we're going to do here outside. All right, guys, so we are on the outside here, and forgive any background noise. We're on a fairly busy street. So, okay, here's what we have planned for the outside. As far as the roof is concerned, we're going to re-roof it. We're going to go over the existing shingles. It's about $9 grand, but you're going to have a brand new roof. There's no leaks, by the way, not a lot of waves, but aesthetically it would look a whole lot better. Garage doors, as I shared inside, you have a great garage here, 2 cars plus a really big workstation, but the doors are a little unsightly. So we'll replace the doors, and we have a bid for $1,800 for both doors. So about $900 a door is very much in line with the price and what it should cost. And again, new roof and brand new garage doors. As far as the paint, we have a quote to paint the outside of the house for $2,165. Don't know where that number came from, but that's what the number is. And the color choices were, first of all, not canary yellow, second of all, not canary yellow, and third of all, not canary yellow. I don't know who thought that was a good color choice, but somebody did. So we are going to paint the house. We've got a couple options. Candidly, I get my wife's opinion. I get a female's opinion who actually has taste, unlike myself, who has none. They know a lot better than me as far as the color schemes. You'll coordinate the roof color with the paint color of the house, and then there's always a trim color that offsets the primary on the house. And of course, you would coordinate garage doors. Most of the time, you get plain white garage doors. Those stand out and look really good, but depending on your style and flavor, you may get one that coincides with the color of the paint. Ultimately, you want to be very neutral because you don't know what people's tastes are going to look like. The only thing I wanted to add for the outside, other than picking it up, there may be some bushes we take down. In fact, there's a bush, it's not worth showing, but there's a bush in front of the bay windows in the very front of the house. That shouldn't be there. That should be cut down to about window level so you can look outside and see whatever in your front yard is. But you always want to have some good curb appeal. So we've got about $1,500 allocated for curb appeal. Flowers and mulch and garden beds and just things that are going to spruce it up. Picking it up, mowing it, cutting some of the branches and things back, some bushes down, but really curb appeal in the form of plants and mulch, and it just makes a huge, huge difference. So now you guys saw this house. Many people would walk up here and might want to throw up, all over before they even walked in, and then when they walked in, they would definitely want to throw up once they got inside the house. But there's opportunity right in front of you. Now imagine a roof, brand new, 2 new doors, garage doors brand new, a brand new coat of paint on the house with some offsetting trim, landscape, plants cut back, flowers in the front yard, mulch, garden beds defined. You walk into the home with hardwood floors and knockdown paint, knockdown texture and paint all through the house, new bathrooms, an updated kitchen. Guys, this place is going to jump, and we haven't even started the rehab yet, and we've had over 25 calls with qualified buyers. I think we've had about 5 times that with folks that are just interested, but over 25 people have more than enough money to put down on this place, and that's exactly what we're looking for. In fact, I can tell you we've got a handful of them that have over $25,000 to put down on this place. So now we're talking, because that's about the 10% range. That's what we like to do. We love to have people that have 10% down, especially when we've rehabbed the home. You want them to be in deep with you. So picture the house now with absolutely brand new everything, including the outside. You're going to have a house that jumps off the curb, thus the curb appeal. So anyway, that's the rehab, guys. We're really excited about it, and at the end of the day, I share with you the numbers one more time. 130 on the ARV, 230 on the ARV, 130 on the purchase price. So we've got $100,000 to play with here. I'm going to go to a whiteboard here in just a minute. I'm going to break down, because we have 3 really cool options that we're looking at doing. I wanted to give you the full rehab. This is if we want to take this thing from A to Z, make it amazing, beautiful, walk-in, wow factor. There's obviously going to be some cost that is going to get it there. Is that the best play for us? Or is there another option that we might do that could still get us a really nice profit, but maybe a little quicker? So I'm going to show you how we're going to finance the deal, number 1, and number 2, the different options we have as far as the rehab and to what degree we want to take it. So I can tell you one thing, at the end of the day, when you're doing these and you do them right, because it all boils down to how you buy them. If you don't buy them right, you can do the rest right, it just doesn't matter. You got to buy them right. But when you buy them right, it's never about making money. It's about how much are you going to make. And so if you're ever in a position where you're not sure if you're going to make money on a deal, I can almost guarantee you that you paid too much, certainly put too much into the property. So when you have a $100,000 gross margin, and yes, there's expenses that are going to come out of that, no question, but you got a lot of room to play with. So excited for the deal and the opportunity. You guys should be looking at these as well. There's a lot out there now. There's more that's coming as this market shifts and these pre-foreclosures and people that are in forbearances and all sorts of other situations. The value's coming down. Buyers are hesitant and not as apt to get in these bidding wars. It's a whole new ball game, guys, and there's opportunities like this all over the country. You should be looking for them. So hope you got some good stuff from here. Please share comments, thoughts, anything that you see differently that you want to just comment on. We do follow those and we love to engage. And again, personal opinion on a lot of things that we took a look at here. So anyways, that concludes the rehab tour. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to show you a little bit more examples of a whiteboard here in just a bit.